Leahy, for your advocacy on human rights. It must be something about the state of Vermont. Let's be very clear. The power of Congress is the power of the purse. We, in the Progressive Caucus, Senator Sanders introduced these amendments to the National Defense Authorization, which would have stopped, frankly, the Soleimani killing or anything that happened afterwards. The amendment said that we will not fund an offensive strike against Iran or Iranian officials. And Senator Sanders and others, the Progressive Caucus, said we should not hand the Pentagon $738 billion without a restriction on Iran. Now, the White House pushed back, and unfortunately, we didn't stand up strong enough. That hasn't been the history of Congress. See, there was a senator, Senator Church, in 1969, who had amendments to stop the expansion of the war in Vietnam to Laos, Cambodia, or Thailand. And he put in the National Defense Authorization that they won't have any funding. And the Nixon administration pushed back. They tried to get rid of that amendment. But then the Congress didn't acquiesce. They actually passed the Church Amendment to prohibit and stop the war's expansion. And then in 1972, Senator Church again introduced an amendment to stop any funding for Vietnam and the war. And it's no coincidence that Nixon winds down the war in 1973. In 1976, Congress stopped funding for the fight against Angola and the communist regime there. My point is that Congress in the past has been willing to exercise the power of the purse. It's only in this century that we have not. We should have, frankly, stopped the escalation in Iraq. We should have stopped the escalation in Afghanistan. And now we must stop the escalation in Iran. We're not an impotent body. We get to decide who gets funding for these military operations. And this bill says absolutely no funding for an offensive war in Iran.